All right, so I made that video a little bit ago about how I was planning on returning to college eventually, and I felt like it was a pretty interesting video because kind of in a weird spot at the moment with a lot of that, but I part of what I took away. I also made that video about how I failed in college previously. And I feel like those two videos really kind of uh fuck I'm sorry. This Wonder Water I just drank. Where is it? This Wonder Water I just drank that you can't read because it's backwards and I would have to flip the video and I'm too lazy to flip the video. This Wonder Water. Dude, fuck. It's getting me. Apparently there's caffeine in it. I drank like half of it last night and then I realized, oh shit, there's caffeine in it? So, I had to, I stopped drinking because, like, I'm not gonna fucking sleep if there's fucking caffeine in here. What the hell? But anyways, with that out of the way. So I made those videos, and I felt like they kind of said a lot about what I thought about college at the time, and how when I went back, I wanted to try and fix some of the issues I had and kind of figure out what I was going to do. And I still haven't really looked into a lot of colleges and stuff, to be honest with you, because work has been kicking my ass and I'm tired and I'm doing a lot of things and I just haven't had the brain power to really be thinking about it. However, as Morph would say, but, basically, I made those videos and I didn't really know what to think about them, but I feel like looking back now, I feel like that those videos and my decision to not continue college may have actually really aged well. Because I've watched this video recently from a guy, I believe his name is Henny117. I'm sorry if I messed up your username, but I think that's what it is. But he made this video that was called something like my experience as a cooked CS grad. Basically something along those lines. And I kind of walked away from that video going, wow, I might have dodged a bullet. And not in the sense you think, but like, you know, I'll talk about it. So, basically, I'm not going to, play his video in full or something. This isn't a fucking reaction video. This is actually, I guess, kind of a reaction video, but in the sense of, old style reaction videos where people would post their reaction to the video instead of watching the video in full. So, basically, his video really delved into what it's like to be a computer science major who went to school 4 years, good grades, focused on school, focused on getting through school as quick as he could so he can get a good job. And then he got out of school and all of a sudden he can't find a job and nobody's willing to hire. And I think definitely, as he said, part of it is just the job market is so dog shit right now because nobody wants to hire, everybody's getting laid off, and just like from my personal experience, when I was trying to find my first job, my plan was I'll look for some shitty retail job or whatever, maybe work at a supermarket, something basic, something anybody could do, a good entry level job with no experience needed. And what I found is a lot of jobs require experience, which is insane because these are the jobs that, I mean, I guess there's like, you know, some food service stuff like McDonald's, they're going to fucking hire you, right? They're going to hire you because they don't really give a shit what your qualifications are. But like, you would think retail, that's fucking, it's basic shit. Anybody could do it. And that's the mentality you would think exists. But no. Nowadays, a lot of retail places, they either prefer that you have like experience, like a year or two of experience in retail before, or they just flat out say 1 to 2 years of experience, or like 6 months of experience required for an entry-level job. An entry-level job, a job that anybody is supposed to be able to fucking do. What? So, that blew me away. When I saw there's a bunch of these retail listings, and, like, for example, there was one for, like, T-Mobile, I think it was. And, I was like, that works out for me, because, you know, I mean, I know a bit about phones, and I could probably learn about phone plans and that sort of thing. And I look at the job description, and I think I even got, like, messaged it from, like, Indeed or ZipRecruiter or something. It was telling me that they're hiring, and this is kind of in my area, so I should look into it. And I did. And I looked at it, and it said that it required, I think, at least 6 months of experience, or like a year of experience in retail. And I was like, what the fuck? Why? Like, this is not a job that is, like, insanely difficult. This is a basic fucking job. And everybody wants experience. And even in fucking, like, internships nowadays, which I'll get back to in the video in a little bit. But even in internships, sometimes require fucking experience for internships. What the fuck is wrong with our job market that we've ended up in this fucking situation? It's ridiculous. Because, like, how the fuck is my generation and future generations supposed to get a job when we can't get experience to get the job, you know? Like, the point is that you get the experience from entry-level jobs, and then you can get to higher-level jobs with your degree and your fucking experience. But when there is no experience to get, then how are you supposed to get to the higher level jobs? How are you even supposed to get to the entry level jobs at this point when you need experience? Because if you can't go to entry level jobs, then what the hell do you do? Like, and that there are people in, like, my generation, like millennials and stuff, where they got their degree and they can't use their fucking degree because it's useless. And so they just have to work fucking, you know, some retail job anyway, something that they've been doing for a while. They have to work it anyway because they can't use their degree. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? It's crazy. But so, to go back to that video, he mentioned a lot about the job market and all that. And he mentioned that, but he just mentioned that he has no idea what the fuck to do because he can't get a job. Because he can't, none of them are they all want, like, experience. They want, like, 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 years in the field before they will consider hiring you. And they, you know, for internships, which is what he was planning on doing, if he can't get a job, at least get an internship, right? A lot of them will not accept you if you're not in school. So it's like, what the fuck? What is he supposed to do? And so he talked a lot about how he feel like he has no direction because he doesn't know what to do. And he's graduated from school, and school was a big part of his identity, and now he has no idea what to do because he just focused on getting through school, and now he can't get a job in the field he's supposed to get a job in, which is what he's dedicated years of his life to, and it just kind of feels all worthless. And I saw that and I was just like, wow. I feel like I can relate to it a lot. Maybe not in some ways, because obviously I'm not out there looking for a CS job, really. But I really sympathize with it a lot because I was a CS major myself for the technically 3 years I went to community college. But I got my associate's degree, and I'm like, wow, in some ways I kind of feel like I dodged a bullet, because one of the things he really mentioned was that he went to school and he just did his schoolwork. He got through his schoolwork, and he just focused on getting the degree because that's what you're supposed to be at college for. And other people who were in, his grade or his peers or whatever, right? They took it slower and they did internships and all this. And now he regrets it because now he can't use his degree to get anything because they all want experience and all of that. And I feel like if I had continued college, which I definitely would have if not for COVID, probably. If I had continued in college, I probably would have done a very similar thing. I probably would have been slower than him, probably, because I was just bad at taking like tons of classes, especially like summer classes. I probably would not have been as fast as him, but I wouldn't have been doing stuff like, for example, I probably wouldn't have bothered with internships for the most part unless like something fell into my lap, basically, and I probably wouldn't have really amounted to much in college. I would have just kind of got the degree, and that would have mainly been it. And I feel like I dodged a bullet in that aspect after hearing his experience, because I probably would have been in the same boat as him. And I kind of hate where computer science has gone, because it feels like a lot of people are here to chase money, because computer science is kind of like, this is going to be the future, because computers, oh god, the camera's fucking freaking out. The future is going to be reliant on computers. That's how we get AI, that's how we get robots, that's how we get automation, that's how we improve our own lives. I mean, just you go back like 40 years, we weren't really able to communicate long distances that easily. And now here we are. Like, able to communicate over the internet and able to do all sorts of stuff like this that we were never able to do before. And it's obviously, the computers have become prevalent in our lives, and now they exist everywhere. I mean, even the scales that we have in our deli, I actually didn't know this for a while until I really took a good look under one. They're just a shell, and there's actually just a mini PC underneath the shell. So it's literally just like a fucking, shitty little PC, but then it just has this shell on top of it that's a scale. And when I found that out, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm seeing like USB ports. I'm like, why are there USB ports? Why the fuck is there a fucking audio jack on this thing? What? And then I found out that's why, because it's a fucking mini PC. Computers have become so prevalent in our lives, and they likely will remain prevalent because they are just so important. They make our jobs and our lives so much better and easier. And obviously, there's still a lot to go, especially with like AI and stuff, right? But that kind of makes computer science this very high demand field, which is good in a sense, because, you know, it's good for people like me who are interested in computers, because it means you get to kind of do what you love, and at the same time you also get to make a lot of money from it. So that's cool. But the problem is that it's become so oversaturated now that we now have people who are not really in it for the love of the they're not in it for the love of the field. They're just kind of there because they want to make money. And it's become so oversaturated that now we're just now there's so many people that the people who are passionate about this thing are having a hard time getting into the field. And Henny kind of makes a mention of this too a lot, because he was someone who, God, the fucking focus is freaking out. But he was someone who he, built his computer. He wanted to learn a lot about computers and all that. And I can sympathize a lot with that because, I mean, as a kid, played a ton of video games. I was always interested in video games growing up. God, this fucking... Dude, I hate this fucking camera right now. It's pissing me off. Stop focusing like crazy, please. Oh my God. But anyways, I grew up with video games. I literally got a computer when I was like, I think 3 years old. My parents bought me a computer. And I started playing this game called I Spy, which, shout out if you know about I Spy. If you know, you know. But basically there were these books and these games, these like little hidden object games. But the point was to try and help, teach kids how to do things, or how to read and how to speak. And it actually worked really fucking well on me, because I was able to start reading when I was like 3 years old, playing the I Spy games. And it was nice because you would kind of hear a word, right? So, for example, you would hear, I don't know, a book, right? You'd hear a book. And when you would click on the book, you would be able to, oh, God damn it. Fuck it. When you would click on the book, you would be able to associate what a book is with the word and the way it's pronounced. And so there's some things like thumbtacks, for example, that are like prevalent in they're prevalent in I Spy, like thumbtacks and like jacks and stuff. And I was able to associate what they were and all that with the word, even though I've never used a fucking thumbtack in my life. But it still really helped me it shaped my learning, basically. It was a fucking huge deal. And like, I was reading way before a lot of kids were even close to being able to read. I was reading whole books before kids could read on their own. That's how it was. And a big part of that was I Spy and computers. And so I was playing games as a kid growing up, and I loved computers growing up. And especially when I have a piece of pretzel in my mouth still. God. I ate like half a pretzel before this because I was so fucking hungry. And then I realized I was gonna eat the whole thing, and then I looked at the nutrition facts. It's like 600 calories. I was like, oh, okay, maybe not the whole thing. That's 600 calories. Jesus Christ, bro. But, yeah. But so, I've loved computers my whole life, and I started to do a little bit of coding in like middle school and high school, and especially in high school, I took computer science 1. I loved that class. That class is awesome. I enjoy coding. Coding is a fun thing for me. And I especially just love learning about it and trying to solve problems, because as I've mentioned in previous videos, I just love it because it kind of feels like a giant puzzle. And it's a puzzle with infinite solutions. There's no one solution to coding something. There are so many solutions to coding something that you can do whatever the fuck you want. And that's awesome. I love that. And it's something that I'm passionate about. But part of me kind of wonders if it is the right field to go into, knowing a lot of things I know now. And I still think it is. I think it's something I'm not only passionate about, but something I can do pretty well and understand pretty well, probably compared to most of what would be my peers in the field. I think that's probably the most important thing, is that it's something I am good at, and it's something I'm also passionate about at the same time. Kind of like with my current job too, almost. Like, I feel like I'm getting pretty decent at my job, and it's also something I'm passionate about because I want to just help people. And, this is a way I can do that. So, that, to me, is what matters a lot with this job. But knowing what I know now from that video, it really kind of makes me glad I feel like I dodged a bullet, because if COVID didn't happen and I went to, let's say I went to a 4-year school and I did all that, I got my degree, blah, 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 then what? I'm in a cook job market. I mean, I guess I would have graduated probably like 2022, 2023. Yeah, probably I would have graduated like 20 or maybe 2024 even on the late side. I would have graduated in 2024, and I would have been in the shit job market where companies are trying to replace people with AI, and everybody's in computer science, and there's mass layoffs everywhere. You go to every fucking big tech company, they're all laying people off. Meta's laying people off. What's it called? I don't know why I can't. Like, Apple, I think, is laying people off. Amazon's laying people off. Microsoft is laying people off. OpenAI, I think, is laying people off. Everybody's getting laid off in the industry, even though there's this massive fucking growth. The stock market is going crazy. And yet, like, the fucking people that are the backbone of it, that are pushing this industry forward, are the people that are getting fucked. And it's ridiculous. It's actually fucking ridiculous, dude. I hate it. And I feel like when I would have graduated, I wouldn't have been able to get a job. And I just would have been fucked. And I would have been stuck doing the job I'm doing now anyway. But it would have been with a lot more debt and not a lot else, probably, because I wouldn't have taken advantage of my time in school. And I didn't take advantage of the time I had in computer science. I wouldn't have taken advantage of the time I had in community college, because back then I wasn't willing to take risks. I wasn't willing to put myself out there and be myself and try to do things and try to really create a better life for myself and everybody around me. That was a problem that would have really cost me had I continued. And I do plan to continue, but now I know what to do. I know that I gotta do internships. I know that I gotta try to meet people and, have experiences that when I'm not in school, I'm not gonna be able to get those easily. So, I know now to make the most of it instead of just focusing on school, get the work done, get a good grade, blah, 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 blah. That used to be something that worked for people who are smart or nerdy or whatever. That used to be how it worked. You used to used to be able to just do that and get a good job. If you focused on school and you had good grades, you got somewhere. Now, that isn't what makes you stand out anymore. It's about being able to get that experience and being able to do as much as you can and that sort of thing. And really watching that video just reinforced the whole thing. That, I think, is what matters the most. And it really makes me feel like when I go back to college, I gotta make the most of it. So, that is ultimately what I'm kind of thinking going forward. And, yeah, I mean, I hope, my hope is that for Henny, things will get much better eventually. But I feel like our generation just got so fucked, man. Like, you know, I'm trying not to make excuses for myself and other people. I don't like to make excuses for myself. But, like, dude, our generation, it's so fucked. Because future generations are not going to have the same problems that we have. Because we're, like, in the middle of the system collapsing and not working. We're, like, in the middle of it. And it's like, what the fuck do we do? What do we do? Like, we don't know the path forward. And then what's going to happen down the line is that we are going to be the one that paved the path for future generations. So, like, when, I don't know, Gen Beta or whatever, right? They're going to come. And they're going to know what to do. Because we carved out the path for them. We made the path. And they're just going to be able to follow it. But we can't follow the path that our, previous generations made for us, because it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work anymore. You can't just get a degree and get a job and bam. Or, like, you can't just work a retail job and that's it. It doesn't work like that anymore. And it fucking sucks. I hate it. I hate it. It makes me a little sad. But I guess it also gives me kind of, a unique challenge to overcome. And my generation. But I just feel like, looking back now, for years I was like, this fucking gap year and gap years will just not be a good idea, because I really should have just been doing something else with my fucking life. Should have been doing something better with my life. And I definitely should have been doing better things with my life. I should have been focused on creating stuff more. I should have been focused on all of that, basically. But, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like, I can't go back and change my past now. Maybe, like, if I had, like, some fucking 999 flowchart type of thing where I could just fucking go back to a point in time and redo a decision and all that, then maybe. But the reality is that I can't go back and change what I've done, which is not very much. But on the other hand, I can change. I can change my future, at least. And I know that what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to go back to school, but make the most of it this time and not fuck it up. And yeah, I think that is good. I think that's the way to go about it. I think that's how ultimately you make the most of college. And it just keeps getting reinforced. And keeps making me realize, yeah, I gotta fucking do this. So I guess the other thing to say too is that I watched the update video he made today, and he talked a little bit about how he's really thankful he got the opportunity he did, which is awesome. Like, I love when just you see like a video like that blow up and people just like, you feel like you actually have some sort of encouragement. I mean, I had one video that blew up and got like, 5K views on my main channel, which is cool. But I haven't really experienced it like that. And when I see that, I just think it's fucking awesome. I think it's just cool. That I feel like is what YouTube should be, It should be about people who are just genuine people talking about things and not fucking some AI garbage or whatever, or grifters that are just fucking saying shit just to keep the grift going, That I think is what YouTube needs to be more about. So that is what I have been kind of doing. When I see stuff like that pops up in my recommended, I'm always interested in it. So I try to help out smaller creators and watch smaller creators when I can. And going back to what he said about just, he wants to make more stuff. And that's kind of the way that I feel too, especially now. I feel like I've gotten so much more creative. Because I feel like before I was always just so afraid to be creative and be myself. And now it's like, now I don't give a fuck about anything. I'll just do whatever. I guess there's still ways to go. But I feel like I'm getting more creative and all that. Which I have to talk about in future videos too, because I started like randomly one day just trying to learn the piano. And I was like using an online piano thing, but like I kind of want to learn how to play the piano. It's kind of where I'm at. Like, I keep just wanting to learn more and more and more stuff and like do more and more stuff and make stuff. And I don't know. Maybe I will eventually. I don't know. But I just want to keep making stuff. I think that's fun. I think it's exciting and interesting. And I think that God, it's really just gonna stay. Okay, so it's really just gonna stay out of focus like that, dude. Like, but I think that going forward, I am going to really try to put my best foot forward with making stuff, because I think that's honestly probably one of the best things about this time period is just anybody can make stuff. And I have so much stuff I want to make, so many things I've wanted to make for so long, and I just thought it was stupid or thought it wasn't good enough or whatever, and I'm not going to care about that anymore. And it's kind of hard now, because now I'm fucking working, and it's tiring and takes a lot of my time. But on the other hand, it kind of gives me the motivation to work on it more when I can, which is not super often, but I try. And I mean, been working on this stuff pretty consistently, so that's good. Like that. I just find that this stuff is kind of what I want to do. So it's like, even on my off day, I'm here. I could be playing Legends ZA or whatever, stuff like that. But here I am just fucking yapping to a camera for like 30 minutes, just talking about stuff. and it's pretty good. I enjoy it a lot. But yeah, trying to think. I did. I don't really know how to like tie this in, because sometimes I just think about things in my head, like when I have a chance, especially like in the shower, like after the shower. Sometimes I just get these like ideas for videos or like thoughts in my head about like games or things or whatever. And I was kind of thinking about, Black Ops 6 and kind of how I feel, because I wanted to make a retrospective on Black Ops 6, but I kind of never did, just because I didn't really have a lot of time, because I wanted to go through all the maps and I lost all my footage because my hard drive fucked up and all that. But I ended up just not doing it, but part of me still wants to maybe talk about Black Ops 6 someday, because I kind of feel like it's going to get overshadowed by BO7, to be honest with you. And I feel like it's always going to be that middle child that has a hard time really standing out. Because when Cold War came out, they overhauled all the mechanics. Everything's new. Everything's fresh. Everything's fun. Everybody's having a good time, right? It kind of, paves its new path. And then BO6 comes along, and it changes some things. But a lot of people just kind of see it going the same path and, just kind of whatever. And then BO7 is going to be like the new shiny, thing. It's going to be like the new thing. It's going to be the one that gets all the attention because it's the newest one, and it's, it has the most kind of going for it and all that. And I feel like it's going to leave BO6 as a very kind of forgotten about game, even though I think it's pretty good. I think it's better than Cold War. And I guess to kind of take that analogy and put it to like computer science, sort of, I feel like, I don't know. I was trying to go somewhere with it, but like I don't know what I would say about it, to be honest with you. I just feel like computer science, it's just hard to make it. I feel like it's hard to really like forge that path for yourself. So I feel like a lot of my kind of generation of like computer science people, I feel like we're going to get behind or left behind in that sense. Cause like, you had like the early wave where, computer science is just starting to become a big thing, right? And it was fresh and new. And I feel like we're not at the point yet where it's going to be like AI and, robots and all this crazy technology and stuff. We're not going to be there yet. And we're just kind of in this middle phase, and like things aren't perfect yet. And it feels like we're not really able to kind of have our own unique path and identity, sort of. And the old path doesn't work. The new path hasn't been paved yet. And so we're just kind of stuck in this weird limbo. I guess that's kind of the analogy that I would compare it to in that sense. But I still do really like computer science. It's just I haven't coded in forever. I have not coded in forever because it's just, dude, I got no fucking time. I'm doing so many other things. I don't have time. I need to make time. But like, I don't know. Man, and this weekend too, not gonna have a lot of time. Because you know what's gonna happen this weekend? I have work the next 2 days, which is only 6-hour shifts, so it's not that bad. But it still is work. And still means I get home late. But then comes, what's it called? Then comes Saturday. And this weekend, I took off work so I could play Go Wild area. Because that's coming up in Pokemon Go. And then also, Black Ops 7 comes out on Friday. So, you know, yeah, that's a lot of things going on at once. And then God knows what my work schedule is going to be. I mean, especially as Thanksgiving comes. I told my manager I can work on Thanksgiving. Because we're going to be closed early anyway. So it's like, hey, I might as well get some hours. I mean, I'm not going to... Unfortunately, we don't get holiday pay. Which sucks. That fucking sucks, dude. The fact that we don't get holiday pay, ooh, that's rough. But, you know, I mean, at least I'm going to get those hours, because other people who would get the holiday pay might not get those hours, so. Alright. Man, though, you know what would be nice? If the camera stopped doing this fucking horrible focus, dude. So anyways, I think I've kind of said my piece at this point. I don't know how much more there really is to say. But ultimately, the main thing I'm just going to say is I'm kind of glad that I ended up taking the gap years I did. Because I thought it was going to be a horrible mistake and I was just wasting my 20s. And I kind of was, to be fair. I was wasting my 20s. I could have done better, obviously. But I also feel like I wouldn't have been in a great spot had I continued to pursue education in the way that I was. And now that I know how to not fuck up, hopefully I don't fuck up. You know? So, I don't know. I still have a lot to think about in regards to college, because obviously there's so many factors to think about. And I don't even have an inkling of where I want to go. And I'm still thinking, do I want to stay local? Do I want to go? And to be honest with you, I want to dorm, but the problem I'm having is I kind of don't want to leave work. I've literally shown up there on my off days, like, all the time. But to be fair, sometimes it's to buy stuff. Like, sometimes I get to get good deals or whatever. Sometimes, you know, there's a reason for me to be there. But also, sometimes I just go there just to say hi to people and to go walk around the store a little bit, you know? Which is not like... It's not like I'm trying to distract people, but it's just kind of, you know, I want to go there and say hi. I don't know. Then again, I mean, I kind of talked about it in the loneliness video. It's like, that's kind of mostly what I have, but I don't know. I enjoy talking to the people I get to talk to at work. It's kind of nice because I feel like I belong there a little more, you know? I guess in a way it almost felt like what college was, in a sense, because it kind of felt like I belonged there, especially towards before COVID, like right before COVID, that semester, that winter or spring 2020 semester. It felt like I really belonged there. Like, I felt like I was getting to meet a bunch of people, like things were going good, and then boom, you know, it's just COVID. I'm just fucked. And it's kind of a similar thing at work, because, you know, I feel like everybody's just kind of chill, and, you know, I'm just talking to people and learning who people are, even months later. But I honestly, I don't know. Like, I kind of enjoy going there and just fucking talking to people. Especially because usually I don't get to do that in the deli, so it's like the one time I get to do that. And I don't know. I just like the store. It's a nice store. I feel like, I mean, like, honestly, it feels more like home than my home does. I feel like, legitimately, if you took out sleeping, you take sleeping, the time I spent sleeping out, I think, unironically, I might spend more time at work than I do at home. And it's not like, oh, you know, they're forcing me to work fucking 200 hours or some shit. It's like, no. I just like being there. I like being there so much that I'm going there on my fucking days off still. Which, to be fair, I partially went there because I was like, I have to piss and I don't want to go back home. Because then it's like awkward when you go home and it's like, well, I went home to piss, but I'm going back. I'm going back out. So it's like, I'm just going to go to work. I'm just going to go to work and say hi to people and go piss and go home. But yeah. I think that's probably a good place to end it. I kind of went off on a bunch of tangents towards the end here. I just started talking about random shit. But, I guess let me bring it back to college a little bit again. Yeah. I kind of want to stay at work, even if it's like, you know, I work 2 or 3 days a week or something, maybe instead of the 4 or 5 that I've been working. That would be fine with me. But I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to go back to college because I like this job, but it's like I'm never going to get anywhere with this job. There is a guy who has been here at this job for 28 years. And he makes $2 an hour more than me. And I'm making minimum wage. You know? So it's like, I don't really see myself being able to, you know, live off of that wage. I'd have to work another job. And even then, I don't know. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So, there probably will come a day when I have to leave. But in the meantime, I mean, just keep working and slowly thinking about college and figuring out what I'm going to do. I hope my camera will stop. What is going on, dude? Oh my god, I hate this thing. Why you do this to me? And you didn't even get to see the struggles I had setting this fucking thing up, dude. Because I have this little car grip, which is what I use to mount it to record these. And it kind of like automatically adjusts to like close. And then there's a little button that you press to open it. And this fucking thing, the button stays closed forever. And it stays pushed forever. And like it doesn't close. And so I'm like fighting with this thing every time I'm trying to make a fucking video. And it's so annoying, dude. I hate it. I fucking hate it, dude. Whatever. So, yeah. I keep saying I'm going to end this, and then I don't end it. So maybe it's time for me to end it. I probably should go home. It's like 6:30. Jesus Christ, it's 6:30. Wow. It is 6:30. I can't believe I've been out here this long. I gotta go home. But anyway, shout out to Henny117. I like watching his videos. It's been pretty cool. And hopefully he'll make more stuff, and I'm kind of curious to see how he progresses as a CS grad, you know? Maybe kind of inspire me to inspire me to learn how I'm gonna continue my computer science degree. I don't know. Figure out how to continue with my career in computer science, or maybe if I should just give up. Maybe I should just work as a deli worker for the rest of my life. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I genuinely hope things get better. And I think eventually the market will correct itself for computer science, because I feel like right now there's just such a fucking gold rush. I think down the line, I mean, eventually it's got to fix itself when people who are thinking, oh, I can just make a bunch of money and not have to do anything if I just learn to code. You know, when those guys are not clouding the field and they're not taking the jobs of the people that want to do this shit, that's when I think it'll be in a better spot. But we'll see. We will see. For the time being, I am not really focused on computer science that much. I'm just focused on this and working, and I guess trying to think about what I'm going to do back to college, and also just trying to fix myself, I guess. So, yeah. I'm going to end this one here now. So, yeah. I don't know when this is going to get uploaded. It'll probably be a little bit, to be honest with you. But, yeah. I guess that's it. There's supposed to be a train coming. But I swear I keep hearing this train, but it doesn't. I forgot to start recording on this. Okay. Let's pretend none of that happened.